Hi, my name is Josh. Today I'm going to be showing you how to do some more stuff in Digital Combat Simulator with the A-10. Today I'm going to be covering the radios, which is all this stuff right here, and the ILS, which is this little doohickey, and the I'm going to have to shut him up. So anyway, this is our ILS, and this is our TAC-in. This is our HSI, and this is our CDU, which we're going to briefly be using. So, I should say right away that one of the things that you ought to be doing, if you are serious and want to learn how to do any of this, you should have a little notepad and be taking notes as far as radio frequencies and things that you feel might be pertinent to the mission. So, yeah. Anyway, this radio right here is used to communicate with tankers, air traffic control, things of that nature. This radio right here is the UHF radio. It is used to communicate with other aircraft, your wingman, for example, that I just shut up. And this right here is the VHF-2 radio, which is used to communicate with UAVs and JTAC, or forward air controllers. So this is also a VHF radio as well. So VHF-1, VHF-2, and UHF. The operation of these is pretty simple. Right now I need to be on frequency 150 because I want to contact the tanker in just a few minutes for a refueling attempt. So I'm going to right click on this knob a couple of times until I get 15 in this window. Then I'm going to left click on this knob until it brings down the value to 0, and now I've got 150 in that radio. I don't need to mess with this one right here. It's on 30.00, and that's for Death Star, which is our JTAC, so I don't need to touch that. If I do intend on finding the tanker, though, I need to tune our TAC-in right here to 46X. You'll do that by mousing over this and using the mouse wheel. 6, you can see there in the window. The X is already there, so I'm going to right click. It's going to move a little switch that you can barely see over, and it's going to change this value. So same thing, mouse over it and use the mouse wheel. What did I need? I needed 67X. Okay, I'm going to turn this knob right here all the way to AATR, which is air-to-air transmit receive. Did I tune that into the right? Oh, I'm sorry, it's supposed to be 46X. There we go. And that tone that you hear is a Morse code identifier, which tells us that we are tuned into the correct station. I'm going to use the volume knob and turn that down so we don't have to listen to it. Same thing goes for this. This needs to be on 108.9, so I'm just going to move this knob until I get to 108.9. And you right click to turn this on, and when you do, you should hear a tone. Which I am not for some reason. Ah, there we go. There's our tone. Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and turn that off so we don't have to listen to that, because you cannot silence that one. Okay. Some other nifty stuff that you can find here. Shut up. Some other nifty stuff that you can find here is right here. For example, let's say that you're lost or you're not sure of the tower frequency or something like that. You can hit function up here on the UFC. Number 2 to go to nav. It'll bring you to this page and you can hit divert. In this case, the airport that we're at is Sanaki, which is the closest to us. And if I click on that, you will notice that it shows our information. 108.9 for the ILS. Notice that it's under 27, so only one runway here, and that is 27 has an ILS. If it were, if runway 9 had an ILS, then the frequency would be underneath the number here. This is approach, and this is the tower. So anyway, I'm going to go down here. I'm going to click TCN on the HSI, and you will see that this moved. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to move this knob right here, the course set knob, And what's going to happen is when I move this, this bar is going to start sliding in between, and I want this bar to make a solid line, so you'll see this happen. There it goes. Okay, you'll notice 27 is the distance. So we are tuned into the tanker, which is Arco, is his call sign, and he is 27 nautical miles away, and if we fly a course of roughly 254, we will intercept him. Now, keep in mind that he is moving, so you will constantly need to be making adjustments to this, and in addition to land-based stations that the TACAN uses, as well as aircraft carriers or any other aircraft with one, the closer that you get to the source, the more sensitive this needle will become. So anyway, I think that I've covered a lot of stuff here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and execute a takeoff. And I'll talk briefly about the mic buttons and how to communicate with who. There are 3 mic switches. Those are located on the HODAS. And as soon as I get off the ground, I will talk about those. Okay, I'm going to do a quick 180 here. I'm going to put myself on a heading for the tanker. Alright. Now anyway, as I said, there are 3 different switches that you will use for the mic. The VHF2 is the left mic button, or the left mic switch. The VHF1 is the right mic switch, and UHF is down. So if I want to use this radio right here to communicate with the tanker, then I would hit the right switch for the mic. Right now I'm going to call up the JTAC. We're not actually going to use him, but I'm just going to use him as an example, because obviously we have to be on the right frequency and be doing the right thing, or we would not hear a reply from him. So I'm going to call up the JTAC right now on the VHF2 with the left mic switch. I'm going to go down this little menu right here. I'm going to go to JTAC. I'm going to call it Death Star, and we're going to check in for 45 minutes.
Death Star 1-1. This is Hog 1-1 to A-10, 60 nautical north of IP. Thanks. 2,400. Armed with AGM 65D, AGM 65H, GBU 12, GBU 38, Mark 82, Mark 82 Air, 1,150 cannon. Time on station is 0 plus 45. Available for tasking. What do you have for us? Hog 1-1. This is Death Star 1-1. Text you in a sec. Advise and ready for 9-line.
Okay, now this is something that's going to have to do for another tutorial on its own. I'm not going to go any further with that, but basically whenever you're ready to go in and attack stuff, then you start, you would escalate that and start asking for the 9-line. I'm not going to do that right now, but like I said, if you're not on the right frequency or doing it, keying up on the right mic, then he would not have replied. For example, if I keyed up on VHF1 and tried to call up a JTAC, I probably would not get a reply.
Ready to copy.
You see there, I did not get a reply back from him. So, what I'm going to do is I'm going to call up the tanker and let them know that we're inbound and we want to refuel. So I'm going to call this up. 6 is the tanker.
Arco, Hog 1-1. Request rejoin. Hog 1-1. Arco, proceed to pre-contact at 13,000.
Okay, so they want us to fly to pre-contact at 13,000 feet. So I'm flying here about a heading of know, 238-ish, 239, and we'll intercept at, he's going 185 knots, I'm 23 nautical miles away, and I'm doing 164 because I'm in a climb, so that means that he's actually, I'm not really gaining on him, he's getting away from me a little bit, so this will take a while. Anyway, I hope that this explained how to use the radios, and, how to communicate with other people. So I hope I didn't forget anything, and maybe you can do it better and point out some stuff that I might have forgotten. Anyway, if you like this, let me know, and I will do some more. I'm gonna try and refuel, and if that goes successful, I'll probably post another video of that. So have a good night.